Good morning, folks. Wherever you are out there, welcome. You are listening to the Charge Live podcast. I'm Joseph Barletta, and this is where we discuss EVs and all things EV charging. So, hey, look, glad you could pull over and park with us today. Hey, let's get plugged in. Hey, look, today's episode's all about Tesla unveiling their third quarter 2025 Supercharger Accomplishments. You're going to love this one. Before we begin, today's episode is brought to you by Smart Charge America. Hey, visit us at smartchargeamerica.com today. Do a little exploring, figure out what we do. Hey, by the way, you can't charge, you can't drive. Look, 2025 Q3 Supercharger Accomplishments. Here we go. We're right off the bat. We got literally it was a little flyer. It was a real cool message coming from the Tesla Supercharger team. And here's just, some of the, kind of really cool bullet points. You got 4,000 stalls open in Q3 2025, which is 18% year over year increase. That's awesome. That's a huge growth pattern there. 1.8 terawatt hours delivered. I can't even wrap my head around that number, but apparently that's what we delivered in power, which is awesome. That's also 29% up year over year in growth. Now, and you're looking at, they did state that it was like 842 million liters of gasoline saved. And I'm like, they would try to pull some liter stuff out there. And we're in America, Jack. So let's get that conversion down to gallons. And we're looking at about 222 million gallons of gasoline saved as a result. And of course, they also threw in the 2 billion kilograms of CO2 emissions offset. So that was huge. 54 million charging sessions. That's also up 31% year over year comparative to Q3 2024. So 54 million supercharger sessions. Think about that. That is insane. Somewhere around, I love Tesla's, like, their ability to just kind of throw a little wrench in there. They don't take themselves too seriously. I love it. They just threw and just dunked on everyone, which is like, hey, look, we also did 50,000 Tesla burgers at our Tesla diner. And we sold them all at 100% tastiness. It's just, I don't know what to say about that. Once I saw it, I was like, yeah, you can't blame them. Hey, let's have a little personality in it. Let's have some fun, right? That's what it's all about. So some of the other stats that we looked at, we also looked at like supercharger info and where they were for Q3. Also, Tesla can't put everything in there, but thought this was pretty cool. We had 395 sites that were opened. And you're looking at 45 sites basically expanded 381 stalls in that same quarter. So, Tesla talked about, hey, look, we're not only adding sites, but we're also expanding existing sites. And so of that, 45 sites were set up for expansion. And of that, 381 stalls were added. That's huge. 31 sites actually began construction. And of course, 31 sites began expansion, and 221 sites actually began construction in Q3. So that's, like when we talk about beginning expansion, beginning construction from the ground up, those are things that are not, we're going to talk about those numbers maybe in Q4 or maybe in Q1 2026, but it's just to kind of let you know kind of what's down the pipeline, right? And so they also looked at 168 more sites that were planned for construction or giving consideration for that. But there's a lot of site host agreements and, interactive agreements that they actually have to make sure that they have, kind of come to fruition in order to have that as a viable site to consider. So that being said, hey guys, if you can, go ahead and click the thumbs up icon, like, share content, all that good stuff. If you like it, you think we earned it, please go ahead and share, tell the world, the rest of the world, what we're kind of doing there. So some of the other stuff that I believe inside the third quarter 2025, Tesla brought, if you want to look at other milestones, you look at the Tesla diner, of course, in California, hey, Los Angeles, hey, we're all for it. If you've been following the Tesla story, you know exactly kind of how that important that diner is. Interesting thing, like the stainless steel body of that diner was made with like reused Cybertruck panels, like the stainless steel that came from Cybertrucks. Like, I didn't know that. I thought that was actually pretty cool. Yeah, you have these giant screens, delivering, 80s movies and whatever else, other kind of movies. You got burgers. You got the superchargers all the way in the back as well, underneath a solar array. It's just like, you know what, Tesla, we're just going to do it. We're going to do it our way. We're not going to have anyone else control it. We're going to do it our way. And I thought that was actually pretty cool. They also opened up and launched their Supercharger for Business program, which we are directly related to that. So we'll talk a little bit more right after I answer one of the audience's questions. But they also launched their first true V4 supercharger station. This is the V4 supercharger cabinet. This is the cabinet that we were really interested in actually looking at, seeing what's going to perform, what's it look like. They actually put it out there in Redwood City, California, which is kind of in between San Francisco and Palo Alto, which, honestly, where else would you put it? It's like ideal place to put it. You're looking at 500 kW for basically the power that it's able to support. And right now, the only real true vehicle that's able to support that load in the Tesla fleet is the Tesla Cybertruck. But it's also able to support 1.2 megawatts of power. And of course, Tesla's got kind of a different charging standard and different charging connector for their megawatt chargers. But at least like the power capabilities of this new V4 cabinet. That's huge. And so really cool to see Tesla's pushing the envelope on kind of stepping up another tier when it comes to their DC fast charging offerings. And you're going to see the rest of the industry kind of rise with that. One of the audience proposed a question here and stated, how can I purchase a set of superchargers for my business now that Tesla has enabled privatization of their hardware and software stack? Okay, so they're probably talking about the white labeling. Yeah, so Tesla, you can, because we talked about opening up their kind of Supercharger for Business program. What they are wanting to do is they're wanting to sell kind of the one cabinet, 4-stall, that whole ensemble setup, gateway, site controller, payment terminals, all of that. I think the gateway is probably going to be done with like maybe a Starlink terminal, which might be cool. I don't know what else they have, but since they've introduced the program, that's what we know. Tesla's going to go ahead and offer that hardware to the customer. So the customer's going to have to install or purchase the hardware. They're going to have to, get Smart Charge America or another EC out there to do the installation. They'll take care of the pricing, what kind of pricing plan that they want to integrate in with their supercharger model. And then they'll also be responsible for site maintenance. Now, from what we're gathering, site maintenance is kind of a vague term. We're seeing that maybe site maintenance is like, hey, we're going to require you to have lighting, proper lighting on site, asset protection, possibly signage, trash, and maybe some modern facilities, maybe amenities around that help complement the aesthetics of the existing supercharger network. So that way, it's not a lesser experience. If anything, it's a better experience than what Tesla is able to deliver for those customers. But they can only control so much on that realm. Now, Tesla, on the other hand, they will provide the hardware, of course, for the chargers. They'll provide the software stack. They'll provide the commissioning. They'll provide the network operation and the driver support, which is huge. Driver support alone is mind-blowing, in addition to the service. So if anything goes wrong, Tesla's out there, boom, ready to service these things. We love that. But they are requiring a minimum of 4 stalls for a business to order. From what we're seeing, it's most likely going to be the V3 cabinets that they're actually able to do. Maybe some even PFUs, which is prefabricated units, involved in that ensemble, in that setup, where possible. Yes, branding, white labeling. It's going to be at the customer's cost. And so Tesla's got like a little template that they can work with you, and it's design and all that stuff. But the customers themselves will be responsible for the branding. Tesla's just making it possible and enable. Yes, let's do it. White labeling all you want. The more the merrier. And so we know that these charging stalls will be capable of about 325 kW per stall. Of course, that's full throttle. I mean, you're dealing with Tesla. I mean, this is the world's best power electronics site setup. I mean, just hands down. Like, if they're offering this to businesses, I'm surprised not like every single business that was considering like Alpatronics Alpatronics is actually a really good hardware manufacturer. But if you're looking at like any of the other OEMs that just they're more universal, standardized type pricing, I would stress like no other to just give Tesla supercharger team some consideration here. They're opening up their most valued asset to businesses to be able to absorb, and they want businesses to come in and help them with that heavy lift, help them with the procurement of the hardware and of the construction and get that in there. They've already provided the hardware and the software stack, and they have the network. It's like they're just basically allowing you to plug into their existing network, and let's all make some money. Let's all satisfy, driver health and just get more charging station sessions, actually, for as many drivers as possible. As EVs continue to grow in demand, that charging infrastructure also has to grow in demand in proportion too. It's not something where, well, we're just going to put this in and then let the rest of the EV sales world go this way and charging is going to. No, as the EV, registrations continue to tick, we're going to have to continue to, increase that infrastructure to be able to support that. So, that being said, we've done the numbers, and we can roughly say, if your business out there and you're considering Tesla Supercharger, we can roughly say that as long as you're budgeting, I would say between $400,000 and $600,000 per site setup, which is the cabinet and 4 stalls, that's where you want to be. So you want to be somewhere between $100,000 per stall and $150,000 per stall. If you're ready for that, if you're ready to throw down on that type of investment for DC fast charging for your customers, and you're serious about this, you need to contact SmartChargeAmerica.com today. We're currently developing a Supercharger page that you could just go to that will have all of this information there, ready, broken down for you. If you have any questions, contact our sales team. Like, these guys are specifically trained, certified to go over any of that information with you. But yes, Tesla is enabling us to take that torch and hand it over to you and say, you know what, let's get this done, and let's get it done the right way. So couldn't be more stoked, couldn't be more, ecstatic about that news. Value conclusion from the news, the Q3 news, you see what Tesla's capable of. I mean, look at last, Q2 2024, what we call the Tesla blip, right? Snaps his fingers and boom, the Supercharger team completely gone. They basically got rid of everyone, hired back maybe 15% of their existing staff. They were doing an average of about 35 to 40 Supercharger sites bringing on live. Basically, at that time, they were averaging about 35 to 40 Supercharger sites going live online every single week. That's globally. And since that blip, they've had about a year's worth of time to kind of really get the process down, even hone in, even get better, use AI, use these tools to get even better. And guess what? He did it again. He literally did it with Twitter, with that takeover. He did it again with internally of Tesla. You're looking at that Supercharger team's about 15% of what it was, and they're cranking out right now, and they finally caught up. They're cranking out the same exact number of Superchargers going live every single week, from what we can gather, somewhere between 35 and 40 Supercharger stalls, Supercharger sites going live every single week. That's the pace that we're there. So it took them a year to get there, but they're there with 85% less staff inside that division. That's insane. That's crazy. He did it again. It just goes to prove, like, yeah, he made some cuts. He made, I wouldn't say a big mistake, but he made it happen. And as a result, injected technology and injected the best of the best in that team. You're talking the best of that team. And they're there, they revamp things, and they prove that, hey, look, we can do this with 15% of what we had before and hit the same exact levels that we hit before. So kudos to the Tesla Supercharger team. We love you guys. Keep it up. But by the way, guys, stay tuned for more of our episodes. Look, we thank you guys so much, our listeners and subscribers today, for your time. I hope this episode's brought to you, a little bit more value to your day. If you like it, great. We love you guys. We can't do this without you. So again, we appreciate you joining us today. Go ahead and click thumbs up icon if you can. Share, comment, subscribe, like our channel if you think we earned it. And thanks again for charging up with us today. We don't do this every day, so keep in mind you can always find us at SmartChargeAmerica.com. And remember, folks, if you can't charge, you can't drive. We'll see you next time. Cheers.